Hello and welcome to Dinis Guarda YouTube podcast series, powered by openbusinesscouncil.org and citiesabc.com. Once again, we continue profiling the global leaders of technology, media, digital, and business, and especially people that push the boundaries over what it means to do business nowadays, what it means to deal with technology, and especially create inspiration, create jobs, and as well make action in the world. And that's the purpose of this channel, that we've been profiling close to 300 people around the world. I've been proud for especially all the people are superstars, and they actually bring a lot of personal ingenuity, personal DNA of passion, and as well a capacity for action, because doing things, it's difficult. Talking is easy. Doing things is very difficult. And that's the case of my special guest today that I'm excited to welcome to our series, Daryn Smith. So Daryn Smith is the CEO of Huble, and Huble is a CRM and creative marketing consultancy that supports large and mid-market enterprises with the expertise to implement and augment HubSpot, and as well as develop and execute creative marketing, sales strategy, and websites. The story of Huble starts when Daryn Smith co-founded MPULL in 2012, later merging it with the B2B Marketing Lab to create Huble in 2020. Currently, the group chief executive of Huble Digital. In this role, Daryn oversees a team of 170 people plus around the world. And Daryn has over 25 years of experience in the fields of computer science and marketing, having key roles in multinationals like InMobi and Verizon Business. As an entrepreneur, Daryn has founded other companies like On the Bench, 2018, a multi-site platform for getting and providing support in real time within marketing platforms, and loadtheshow.com, Afro-Canvas Media in 2006, and the first ad-funded music download website launched worldwide. Daryn holds a diploma in brand management from AAA School of Advertisement and web development from Blue Chip Institute. Beyond executive duties, Daryn shares insights from and through the Digital Surfing podcast, emphasizing digital transformation in growth. And as well is a visionary leader and entrepreneur with a rich background that is actually making bridge between what it means to do digital nowadays, and how we look at technology, computer science, and marketing, which I think is particularly interesting. And I'm looking forward as well to welcome to his series. He has a fantastic profile.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
So Daryn, well, I could talk much more because you've been doing so amazing things, and as well, you have as well your digital footprint and a lot of different things. But tell me about you. How did you achieve to be who you are today? There was a person or a moment in your career, your education, your family that made who you are. Let's start from the background and the history until now, if possible. Not all the history, but some parts.
Not all the history, no. I think what's significant is one of the things is I don't enjoy learning and doing training. So when I finished school, my parents said, you have to study something. So I went to go and find the thing that would give me the most bang for my buck, which was a 1-year degree in computer science. So I didn't want to have to go and study for 3 years because it's just not what I enjoy, sitting and looking at textbooks and presentations and that type of thing. Studied computer science, got my first job as a developer, and got bored really, really quickly. You've got a handful of words that you can use over and over when you code in. And as you were saying in the introduction, I was working in telecoms at the time, working for a US-based company, and they actually went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And the first thing they did is they retrenched the marketing team, and then they retrenched the HR team and the learning team. And that's generally what happens in a retrenchment. I managed to kind of survive the retrenchment process because I was a developer and they needed developers. But the managing director at the time came to me and said, hey, do you know what? You make websites. So you now head of marketing. And suddenly I ended up in this marketing role. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I made pens. I took people to the rugby. We actually created a TV ad that won some incredible awards. But at the end of the year, the CEO said to me, "How come our competitor grew and we didn't?" And I had no idea. I said, "Well, I did everything that I've seen other marketers do. I've done the pens, done this entertaining, done the TV ads. It didn't work." And so that's when I went to go and do the marketing degree. And it was very, very kind of in a short space of time, worked out what I had done wrong. And that came down to basic positioning. In having all the fun in doing the marketing stuff, I had no idea that I had to have a consistent marketing message so that people understood what we stood for. So that's what kind of led me into this kind of marketing world. Worked in marketing, ended up doing some CRM work, getting, I suppose, frustrated with what I saw was in the industry, the agencies that I had to work with, and then taking that computer science background and the marketing background, which ended up creating an agency in 2012. So that's the short version of a long story.
Wow, fantastic! And I love the how different things in your life actually changed the entire trajectory in another different direction. So if I would ask you one person or one moment in your education or in your family background, you mentioned a moment that was when there was a retrench of the company, and that was one moment, but a moment that you became who you are in terms of business person, in terms of professional.
So I actually don't think that there's one particular moment. I mean, I think if I look back on how I was, being a manager, being a leader, being a founder, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I almost look back with embarrassment. Like I can't believe I was behaving like that or thought these things. So it's been a kind of continuous improvement, influenced by kind of so many different people, different leaders, different employees even. So I don't think there's one particular moment that I could particularly call out.
Oh, very, very interesting, because in some cases there are people that really have one moment, others that don't. So it's interesting to see from your side that. So let's look at, so you came from software development, you have as well computing experience, and of course now you're leading one of the fast growing agencies worldwide in digital. So tell us a bit about that part, the trajectory from what you said when you went through that company to create your own companies, your own ventures, a bit of that trajectory career.
Sure. So I think in 2012, when I founded MPULL, which was the part of Huble that I kind of founded, there weren't very many business to business marketing agencies. There were a lot of B2C agencies, and coming from this background of telecoms, I knew that we had to track everything. We had to try prove return on investment, and so that's what kind of initiated my research into different marketing software providers. Looked back then at ExactTarget, which is now Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Marketo. Looked at HubSpot. Looked at several different marketing providers, and ended up settling on HubSpot because it was affordable at the time. It still is affordable, but especially back then compared to ExactTarget and Eloqua and that type of thing, it was a lot more affordable. It had a broad range of functionality. We initially started operating in South Africa, and the agency grew really well. Grew to 100 people within 2 to 3 years. I think it was just that perfect time where there weren't that many B2B marketing agencies. Content marketing was getting popular. And I often describe myself as a Jack Russell with a tennis ball in my mouth and then somebody has a new shiny tennis ball, and I want both tennis balls in my mouth, but I can't. And then somebody else has another tennis ball, and I want 3 tennis balls in my mouth, and I can't get all 3 in my mouth. So what ended up happening is I was trying to do many, many different things, not focusing on the one, and ended up going through a merger that went wrong. And in that merger, when we decided to split apart and go back to how things were before, one of the agreements that we came to was that we would not do business in South Africa. So this was a significant change in our business model. We had to change and find a different way to go to market. We had a team. We split the team, so about half the team that we started off with, so about 50 people, and we had to find work for them immediately. And so we transformed the business into an outsourcing business. And this outsourcing business was serving other companies around the world that were using MarTech, not just HubSpot, various different MarTech, whether it be Marketo or Marketing Cloud and so on, and outsourcing to South Africa. Now, this worked really well for a few years, but what we realized is that there was no loyalty when it comes to outsourcing. And we were taking all the risk because we were hiring people, we were training people, and then these agencies around the world would simply take work away or suddenly need a lot of help, and it wasn't really all that scalable. At the same time, HubSpot was becoming increasingly technical, and we had built out quite a technical team to do integrations and that type of thing. And one of the people that we had been working with was B2B Marketing Lab in London. And we decided in 2020 to merge together to form a highly technical and beginning of a global HubSpot partner, and in keeping with our marketing and sales consultancy and expertise as well. And then over the years, since then, we have acquired in Germany. We've acquired in Belgium. We opened in Singapore, and we've opened up in the US organically. So the agency has become this global agency, helping companies with their marketing, helping companies with their sales, implementing HubSpot, supporting HubSpot, and what's become a very unique proposition is the fact that we can operate 24 hours a day, and we can operate in English, German, and French. And this seems to be because, as when you introed us earlier, we are working with mid-market companies. They do have offices around the world, and they are supporting multiple languages. So that's kind of how we've got to where we are at the moment.
So this is a big thing. Like you said, the moment we are I think there's an increasing of complexity around technology, and AI is disrupting everything right now in another level. But one of the things that you guys have been doing, and I'm reading from your words, your mission is to empower business to evolve and become more customer-centric, leveraging the power of HubSpot and other platforms. And you also serve, now I stop the quote, you also serve in the partner advisory board member of HubSpot, and you have as well a huge network, especially as well in your business world, and you have the Digital Surfing podcast. So tell us a bit about this. First of all, how do we empower businesses? Because that's the challenge right now, is how business can actually use all these technologies and make money, because that's increasing more difficult. And as well, how you work with HubSpot in particular, and then of course about your podcast. So 3 questions by order, as well, as long as you want.
Sure. So there's so many businesses that believe that if you adopt a piece of technology, it will solve your business problem. But the technology is only there to scale the solution that is being put into place. So we work with companies where we help identify strategy. That's marketing strategy, sales strategy, service strategy. we optimize processes around that. So once the strategy is defined, how are we going to enable your sales team? How are we going to run campaigns for your marketing team? Or how are we going to support your customers that are submitting inquiries and need assistance? So we've got a big consulting part. And only once we've defined all the processes, which is a completely kind of, I'd say, paper-based, although we use Lucidchart to do it, so it's not real paper. But once we've designed all the different processes, then we go into setting this up on HubSpot. And, to think that your business isn't constantly evolving and constantly changing. I take my business of just over 175 people. We completely change our business and evolve our business at least every 90 days. And every time you make a change to your business, that means that your sales processes need to change, your marketing processes need to change, your service processes need to change. So, I think we don't go into a once-off engagement where we implement HubSpot, we design your processes, that type of thing, and then you go off. All our customers are in continuous engagement with us, where as they make changes, they have board meetings, they decide to enter different territories or launch new products. We're working alongside them all the time to take those products to market and so on. So that's kind of around why we really talk about kind of helping businesses grow and helping business evolve. In terms of, I suppose, the question around the podcast, I think being a marketing agency, we are always experimenting in different mediums, different channels. And so initially my podcast was started, I think almost 2 years ago now, because we thought, well, some of our customers are going to want to do podcasts, and we need to know everything there is to do about podcasting, how to grow an audience, how to track whether the actual podcast is generating return on investment and that type of thing. So the podcast, a lot of the things that we do for ourselves are things that we'll eventually do for our customers. But that was the initial reason behind the podcast. When it comes to marketing, I am very much a big believer in drinking your own champagne or eating your own dog food, however you want to say it. I have never seen on TV a TV ad for Ogilvy or for Saatchi or for Publicis, and yet these companies are selling TV ads. I'm like, if the TV ads really worked, why would they not be doing it themselves? So when I think of podcasting and the content that we help companies produce and distribute that podcast, like, we are literally doing for you what we would do for ourselves. And then the last part of your question was around the Partner Advisory Council. I think being with HubSpot since 2012, we were one of their first partners that was signed out of their Dublin office when it opened over 10 years ago. And with our technical team, we've always been pushing the boundaries of what it can do. And so, I think being part of the Partner Advisory Council has been rewarding in that we can guide and give direction as to where HubSpot is going and where they're going in particular with their partner program.
That's a quite impressive amount of things, and I love the way you try and you implement and then you use it as well, because I think that's one of the challenges that how we can create productivity with all the challenges we face in technology, in agencies, and digital. And as well, like you said, there's still a big problem. One of the things, the study, and that's why I started as well this channel, for instance, in the case of Open Business Council, what I've been finding is there's around 400 million SMEs and micro SMEs around the world. 90% have no kind of digital presence or very bad digital presence. In this direction, and because of your experience working with a lot of big brands and small and different areas, how do you tackle these things? Because if this is one big challenge that is right now affecting everyone's business, is digital transformation. And I know that is one of your areas of expertise and passion, but as well, from the digital transformation to the case studies of empowering businesses, empower agencies, because everyone is facing the same challenges. But in the end of the day, is how we can actually create this business and these solutions that actually can make results and can take us forward.
And you know what? Those small businesses that you were talking about that have no digital presence, I feel so terrible for so many of those businesses, because so many of them are the type of thing that they end up buying are these packages that these small business agencies sell. So they believe they need a podcast, or they need social media, or they need a CRM. A small business loves to buy something that has a fixed cost, and they know they need it. So they go and they say, right, for $3,000 or £5,000, I'm going to buy a social media package. And they are led to believe that this thing is going to solve their problem. And they believe that if I'm doing social media, or if I am doing Google AdWords, it will solve my problems. And it's a similar how many companies think, if I buy HubSpot, it will solve my problems. HubSpot says on their homepage, we help businesses grow. Oh, great. Watch my business grow. It's not going to happen. So for us, the way that we approach things is very much to work on a custom bespoke solution. So we take time to initially understand the industry, the client, the product that they're selling, who they're selling to. I am always so surprised. One of the other things I'm surprised about is the quantity of companies that we work with that target IT people, CTOs, and so on. And those people are, the way they're doing that is they're buying Google AdWords. And we know from research that the CTO or the IT persona is the least likely person to click on a Google AdWord, because they know how that works. They know it's a sponsored link. They don't want to click on it. They're going to go to the organic results. Yet so many companies just go, oh, we must do that, and they go and do it. So we build strategy. The other thing that we do, especially for larger and mid-market businesses, is we build out the customer journey, the desired customer journey, all the different touch points, and we look at how do we optimize those touch points, and we use technology like HubSpot to scale that. Because if they're, even when it's post-sale, if you're a piece of software and you're onboarding 1,000 customers a week, how do you do that in a scalable way? If you're onboarding 1 or 2 customers a week, it's fine. You can send them an email and welcome them and teach them how to use the software. But how do you do it when it's hundreds and thousands? So we take a very bespoke approach to everything that we do in digital. And what works for one doesn't necessarily work for the other. But the other thing that we always believe in is spend 80% of your budget on things that you know will work. And then spend 20% of your budget on things that you're not sure about. So if you're not sure that a podcast is going to work for you, you should still try it. But don't put all your eggs in one basket. So put the majority of your budget into an area that you know is going to work.
Inspiring and very important. And I think this is the most important, is you need to understand what you're trying to do, but you need as well to set this set of expectations, and the set as well of a path to go. So let's talk about your agency and some of the things you guys are doing that you want to show with your agency, some case studies. Because I think at the moment, the agency world is quite complex, because there's B2B agencies, there's B2C, there's marketing, there's PR, there's SEO, there's CRM in the case of what you guys are doing. And I think people are just lost in terms of understanding this. And at the moment, the complexity as well of the technology, like you mentioned, Google AdWords, it used to be quite simple. Now it's super difficult to manage. And if you go to other things, it becomes even more complex. So I'd like to hear a bit about how your agency works in particular, and as well some of the expertise and case studies that you want to share with your audience.
Sure. So maybe I'll focus on a particular case study. And one of our clients out of Germany is an organization called GfK, a big research company. And for GfK, we've initially got brought in to help them with their website. And so we decided to build their website. And because of our affiliation with HubSpot, we recommended building that on HubSpot. One of the reasons for that is because HubSpot has the website platform, their CMS, is integrated into the CRM. So what that enables us to do is personalize experiences, right? There's so much noise in the world that you need a way to personalize and get somebody's attention. And when you look at a homepage, how many jobs does a homepage have to do for different audiences? You've got different buying profiles visiting your homepage. You've got different stages of buying. You've got existing customers. You've got leads. You've got so many different people visiting your homepage. And so by building it on HubSpot, we can personalize that experience for those different audiences. So that's how the engagement started. After that, we moved into starting to build out marketing automation journeys, and we started to talk about other campaigns, whether that be like easy things like SEO and Google and that type of thing. But increasingly, we got involved with the brand and more creative campaigns. Now, one of the campaigns that we actually potentially going to win an award for in London in the next 2-3 weeks is for a campaign we created around artificial intelligence, AI, which is everybody's talking about AI. And GfK as a company, they've been using AI for many, many years because they needed an easy way to give people access to the millions and millions of data points that they collect every single day. And so because so many people have been afraid of AI, their brief to us was come up with a campaign to show people they don't need to be afraid of AI. And so what we did is we decided to use AI to create the campaign, right? So, and the campaign, what we did is we created a AI avatar called Ruby, and we used a tool to design Ruby. We used an AI tool to give Ruby a voice. We used a tool to put music in the back of Ruby, and then we asked Ruby questions, where we used ChatGPT. So we asked the question to ChatGPT, and then we got the answers for that Ruby was going to say through the voice prompt that we designed. And then we made Ruby compete against Gonzalez, who is the CMO at GfK. And so we asked them questions about the future of marketing and compared their answers live. And this was an incredible campaign showing how AI plays a role, but there's still human intuition that often wins. So Gonzalez ended up winning against the AI, but they came very close. And it also showed that you don't have to be afraid of AI. It just all comes down to how you use it.
Oh, fantastic. And this is an area that is going to be exploding. And I love this narrative around finding a specific case study that you can go and take it forward, and as well what you guys are doing between the agency and the clients and different things. So you mentioned AI and you mentioned the avatar you guys have been doing. So how are you right now interacting or actually bringing AI to your agency, to your employees and our team? Because it's a big team that you have. And is this disrupting the way you work? Are you thinking to change things? Because I think that's the biggest elephant in the room, especially for agencies. For instance, at the moment, there's a lot of prompts in a lot of the chatbots from OpenAI to others that can actually create an entire website. But ironically, there's a kind of a misleading communication because everyone thinks that the tools can be doing everything, but the tools only do so much. And you need professionals. Ironically, you need an agency to manage ChatGPT if you want to do it right, or to manage any CRM. But the narrative is sometimes, okay, AI is going to kill us all and is going to kill all our jobs at special agencies. How do you see AI when it comes to your agency in particular, in the industry at large?
I do think AI is going to kill many of our jobs, but it's going to give us better jobs, right? Yeah, if I look at first the CRM side of our business, which is a massive part of our business, how data is stored in HubSpot and how people use from a sales pipeline management to running their marketing campaigns. What HubSpot have done themselves is they've invested a huge amount in AI. And so by using HubSpot, you immediately get access to a bunch of different AI. And I think so many leaders, board members are giving companies directives to use AI, and many aren't tech companies, aren't agencies, aren't digitally savvy, and they don't know where to start. So going with a CRM platform such as HubSpot immediately gives your full sales team, your full marketing team, your full service team access to AI. So we are rolling out HubSpot for various companies and teaching them how to use AI in their day-to-day jobs. Good examples of that is one of the new features, the AI features in HubSpot for the sales teams is forecast submission, right? So every week, most salespeople have to submit a forecast. And most cases, that forecast is fairly inaccurate. Either the salesperson's been highly optimistic or they're sandbagging opportunities and they're not telling you kind of about them. So within HubSpot now, you can actually, as you submit your forecast, it has a prompt to say, based on historic data, this forecast is incorrect. You can't possibly close this amount of deals or this value of deals. So that's an example on the sales side. On the service side, customers open tickets to get issues resolved, and sometimes tickets go backwards and forwards, and then the agent that was managing the ticket changes because it's a different shift, and there's a lot of content that needs to be consumed by the next agent to work out how to solve the problem. With it, one click of a button within HubSpot now, you can see a summary of that ticket, exactly where it is currently. So saving a huge amount of time. So that's on our HubSpot side of the business. On our marketing side of the business, agency side, I think this is where we are still very much experimenting with AI. We're using AI to produce some content. Campaign I just described now, we're using AI generation tools to help generate different kind of video and images and sound and that type of thing. And it's making us faster, absolutely, which enables us to do more for clients and so on. And so this area, like, I have no idea whether entire jobs are going to be replaced or not. If I look at our copywriting team, what's very interesting is they have never been more busy than now, which is kind of unusual because everyone thinks, ChatGPT now writes copy. You don't need copywriters. But everybody now wants original copy. So they don't want the copy from ChatGPT. So that's why our copywriters are so busy. And then we look at our sales consultancy side of the business. This is where we're working with sales teams to work out how to help them sell better, how to optimize their sales processes. And there's so many amazing AI tools out there. Besides those in HubSpot, we work with organizations such as Cluster, which help work out what should the forecast be? What is your pipeline going to look like? How is your sales team going to perform? What changes do you need to make? So there's various areas that we're using AI throughout the agency, but I think it's only going to increase over the next few months.
So you say right now, these tools right now applied to software and different parts is creating new jobs, new ways that you didn't get before. So when it comes to your clients, so the customers, are you seeing right now a confusion, or they simply are too drowned in their stuff that they don't really even think about this? Because it's another thing I feel as well is that people like us in this podcast and in this industry, professional networks, we are quite, and actually that happens even when I created my first business in a serious way, is that I thought, okay, everyone was very digital and all that stuff. And this was already like 15 years ago. And then I came up to reality. No, people don't really even think about these things. But are you seeing your clients and your network being really scared or at least concerned about AI?
Yes, absolutely. There's something happening at the moment that I'm calling AI FOMO. So business leaders are not making decisions at the moment in software purchase decisions, which agency to use, which campaign to go with, which sales process to go with, because they are convinced that in the next week, in the next 3 days, in the next 5 weeks, there's going to be something nicer, cooler, better. And if they commit to buying this piece of software or running with this process, they may actually find themselves behind the curve. So because AI is moving so fast, it's actually causing a delay in everybody else's behavior. So absolutely, everybody is too scared to make decisions. Even the people that know what's going on with AI, they're almost worse than those that don't, because they're aware that there's all these startups and all this cool technology and all these cool things that are coming out, and they are scared to make those buying decisions.
That's an interesting approach. I'm thinking right now the challenge, and I'm talking for myself, and this is actually my next question is, so what I feel right now is that there's a lot of like the FOMO, and the FOMO, of course, one thing is FOMO from industry leaders and big corporations. But one of the things that I feel, and this is about the legacy systems and legacy technologies, is that even big corporations, yes, they understand, because OpenAI is becoming so radically disruptive, and the Pi, Chat, and all these different things. But this is like 3-4 organizations worldwide. And then there's all the copycats that they use an API to go to any platform and they create something like that. That always happened. But the challenge right now is the disruption, the velocity. And like you said, your copywriters are right now more busy than ever. But at the same time, do you think from your leadership capacity, how do you, I think the question is about innovation. How do you include this innovation within your culture? And what would be the advice for people listening to us in terms of applying innovation towards even AI, that is a so big concept that is affecting us all? From your experience, of course, because you've been going through a lot of waves.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what, like, what I think ChatGPT launched, what must have been about March or so in this year, where it became really, really popular. And I went to a HubSpot event in April, May, around there, 60 days after ChatGPT had become so popular. And Yamini, the CEO, stood up and said, you know what, us as HubSpot, a massive tech company, we can't predict what's going to happen with artificial intelligence. And so what our strategy is to just embrace it, just go out and do things with it. And maybe there'll be a tech debt. Maybe there'll be a time debt. You could have done something different instead of investing in all this time in trying a piece of AI. But go out and try something. And now you look, HubSpot had their event last month in September, and they stood up on stage and launched all these amazing AI features, and they're now seen at the forefront of AI in CRM. And our customer promise is seek evolution. It is also our promise to our employees, and what we want to inspire our employees to do is to seek evolution, right? So you need to start somewhere, and you don't know what that is. So adopt ChatGPT, use one of the AI tools, kind of just start doing something. And yes, you may look back and go, we should have tried something else. But unless you're trying something, you've got no jumping off point. You've got no starting point. So our design teams, our copywriting teams, our strategy teams, everybody's trying to use AI in some form or another. And some of those will look back in 6 months' time and go, well, that was a terrible idea. And in other cases, we'll be like, that was a terrible idea, but look at what we've learned. And in other cases, it'll be like, wow, that was a fantastic idea. So it's just a case of go out, try, and then evolve from there.
I love the way you put it, and I think it's a great example for all of us listening. So another question is related to so you have offices and teams in multiple countries. You have quite an international focus. You are based in South Africa as we speak. So tell us about this location and how you deal with teams and productivity, especially with all these tools, but as well with achieving results, because you've been achieving, and of course is a thriving business that you create an ecosystem.
So we actually, Huble was formed in March 2020. 8 days after we were formed, there was the pandemic and airports closed and everything. So our team has pretty much always been remote, even though, the 8 to 10 years before that, we were all in offices. So luckily, being a digital company, we had Slack already, and we were using Zoom, and everything was cloud-based. And so we didn't have any disruption. Now, what our strategy has been is our HR policy is titled Be You, right? So we're not trying to force anybody into an office. We're not trying to force anybody into a certain benefits cover or anything like that. It's all about Be You. And although the one thing that we have done is we have offices around the world, or we have locations around the world. But what we have tried to do is center those locations around the city, so that at least, although we're not forcing everybody into an office, if teams want to get together, then they can get together. And in some cases, we have offices we own, and in other cases, we have WeWork subscriptions, where employees can go in as much and as little as they want to go in. So, and then we've got our team of 100 people in Cape Town. That's our real production center. There we do have an office. Once again, we don't force anybody into the office. But when it comes to producing digital things, these teams can come into the office more regularly should they need. There's whiteboards there that they can work on. There's great coffee, all that type of thing, so they can go and work together if they need. But I think we've got a culture that's developed where we effectively use digital communication to communicate. We've got people in different time zones, and we do a huge amount of asynchronous communication, and that helps a huge amount. So we use various video technologies so that people that are sleeping can have a video catch up. And increasingly, this is another area where I'm starting to see AI, where AI can summarize a day or a video or a meeting into just several bullet points and help employees pick up on the work. But we've been lucky. I can't put my finger on a specific thing that we've done to create this really effective kind of remote culture, but it certainly is an effective one.
Yeah, fantastic. And this is really a key element, especially these tools and the different parts. I know that we are in the last part of this, and I know you're busy, guys. So let's talk in the HubSpot CRM. So you are an expert on that. You are as well a partner. And you mentioned as well some of the tools they have. But for people listening to us, and of course, most of them know about HubSpot, but not everyone knows about the details. Tell us a bit about how do you deal with HubSpot CRM, how the ecosystem, because there's a massive network around HubSpot, and a bit your trajectory with them, and as well as a partner, and as well about the software.
What was it? 2012, when I decided that I needed to find a piece of software to help kind of manage return on investment, manage marketing programs. If you look at the MarTech infographic that Scott Brinker creates every single year, there were 300 pieces of MarTech on that infographic in 2012. Today, there's over 10,000 pieces of MarTech on that infographic. So I'm extremely happy that I did the analysis in 2012 and looked at the 300 pieces of software and thought, which of these software is well designed, well developed, easy to use, cost effective, and so on. And so that's how it kind of landed on HubSpot. Now, what's quite unique to HubSpot compared to many other software providers or CRM providers is they have not grown their functionality through acquisitions. So a lot of their competitors acquire different companies and then plug the software into HubSpot. They change the logo, into the company. So they change the logo, but it's effectively two different pieces of software, three different pieces of software. They all work differently. They all have different APIs and integration points, data stores, and that type of thing. And so they become really, really fragmented. And HubSpot hasn't taken that approach. Every single HubSpot tool has been built on the same tech stack, and so it works really, really well. It can handle a tiny company, and that's one of the really nice things about HubSpot. You can be a startup with one employee and manage your customers, your sales pipeline, and your marketing in HubSpot. And we've got customers with over 10,000 employees running their company off HubSpot. It works. It doesn't slow down. It's the same. It's the same experience. It really does scale. So yeah, through the years, we initially were entirely focused on marketing and running campaigns through HubSpot and their marketing tools. As HubSpot became more of a CRM, we started to offer sales consultancy. We started to build integrations, and then they've gone into service. And we've now consult on to customer service teams and still build lots of integrations and that type of thing. So the partner ecosystem is huge. There's over 4,500 HubSpot partners around the world. And so it isn't an easy task to find the right partner for your business to work with because there are so many. I think the key thing is to work out if you select HubSpot, what are your requirements in a partner? Like for our customers, the requirements are that we are global, that we can speak multi-languages, that we've got integration capabilities, all of that type of thing. But for many of the smaller businesses, that would be overkill. They don't need that. So yeah, it is a big ecosystem. I suppose we have been in it for a long time, which gives us a bit of an advantage.
Amazing, and really a key element for any business, because it really CRMs are a key element. So last question, and a kickoff as well that wrap up a lot of the things we discussed. So in terms of when it comes to digital transformation, you've been going through all these different areas and you are an expert on that level. So for people listening to us, especially professionals, agencies, or technology people, what would be the summary that you would highlight with your experience and dealing with so much clients? You mentioned all these networks that we discussed so far.
So I think when it comes to digital transformation, when you transform your business, and you should be transforming your business for, I suppose, two reasons. One is to improve customer experience. And when you improve customer experience, then revenue comes and you grow and that type of thing. And secondly, you transform your business for employee experience, because employees are becoming increasingly difficult to find and retain. And you could be having a huge amount of customers and revenue, but your business can't grow if you've got nobody to do the work, right? So first of all, those I think are the two key reasons why I recommend that you do kind of digital transformation. Now, the problem with those two audiences is that once you do something and you improve their experience, their expectations increase, right? So you go and give all your employees $100 for an end of year gift. Next year, they'll expect $150. Their expectations are always increasing, and exactly the same with customers. You give customers a frictionless buying experience. They can buy online. They don't have to deal with a salesperson. They receive their invoice all smoothly. Everything's fast and efficient. Next time, they're going to expect that and more. So companies should never think that digital transformation is a one-off project. Digital transformation is around analyzing constantly your customer experience and your employee experience and going, right, what is the next thing we need to do? Because you might have just optimized for ability to buy on WhatsApp, but now there could be an expectation that people can buy on TikTok, right? So there's constant new digital platforms, new digital technologies, and that never, ever ends.
Fantastic. So lastly, just if you want to highlight where people can find you, we'll put all the links. There's the HubleDigital.com, where you have the digital surfing podcast. Other things that you want to highlight, and as well a bit about your podcast, because this is a podcast and I'm a huge fan of podcasts. I learn a lot. I think it's always good to share this to all the audience, and please go to these channels.
Absolutely. I think for me, my main channel is LinkedIn. I believe it or not, being in digital, I actually try and digital detox a fair amount. So I'm not on a huge amount of different social media channels. LinkedIn is my spot, and then, as you mentioned, our website and so on is also a good spot to get in touch.
Thank you, Daryn. Congratulations for all the excellent work. I wish you much more success and all the best for you and your agency. And definitely for people listening to us, check the podcast. There's really cool stuff there. And of course, engage. Thank you.